Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva
Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 12, titled Mohini Murti Bewilders Lord Shiva. We're reading text 17 to 21. 21 is on the board, so I'll read 17 to 20. Shri Sukavacha iti bruvano bhagavans tatraivans taradiyata sarvatas charayams chakshur bhava aste sahomaya. Translation. Sukadeva Goswami continued, after speaking in this way, the Supreme Personality of Godhead immediately disappeared, and Lord Shiva remained there with Uma, looking for him all around with moving eyes. Text 18. Tato darsho bhavameva rastriyam vichitra pushparuna pallava drume vikritantim kanduka lilaya lasad tukula pasyata nitam vamekalam. Translation. Thereafter, in a nice forest nearby, full of trees with reddish pink leaves and varieties of flowers, Lord Shiva saw a beautiful woman playing with a ball. Her hips were covered with a shining sari and ornamented with a belt. Text 19. Avartanudvartana kampita sthanam prakrita haroruvarai pade pade prabhajamanam iva madhyataschalat pada pravalam naitim tatastata. Translation. Because the ball was falling down and bouncing up as she played with it, her breast trembled, and because of the weight of those breasts and her heavy flower garlands, her waist appeared to be all but breaking at every step, as her two soft feet, which were reddish like corals, moved here and there. Text 20. Dikshu brahmatkandukacha palaivrisham pradignatarayatalolalocanam swakarma vibrajita kundalalasat kapola nilalakamanditanam. Translation. The woman's face was decorated by broad, beautiful, restless eyes, which moved as the ball bounced here and there from her hand. The two brilliant earrings on her ears decorated her shining cheeks like bluish reflections, and the hair scattered on her face made her even more beautiful to see. Text 21. Please repeat. Slata tukulam kabarim chavichutam.
Slata dukulam kabalim chavichutam.
Slata dukulam kabarim chavichutam.
Slata dukulam kabalim chavichutam.
Sanayatim vamakarena valgunam.
Sanayatim vamakarena valguna.
Sanayatim vamakarena valguna.
Sanayatim vamakarena valguna.
Vinignatimanya karena kandukam.
Vinignatimanya karena kandukam.
Vinignatimanya karena kandukam
Vinignatim anyakarena kandukam
vimohayantim jagadatmamayaya
Vimohayantim jagadatmamayaya
vimohayantim jagadatmamayaya
Vimohayantim jagadatmamayaya
Shlatadukulam kabarim chavichutam
Shraddhadukulam kabalim chavishyutam
Sanahatim vamakarena valguna
Sanayatim vamakarena varguna
Vinignatimanya karena kandukam
Vinignatim anyakarena kandukam
Vimohayantim jagadatmamayaya
Vimohayantim jagadatmamayaya
Please carry on.
Slatadukulam kavarim chavichutam
Shraddhadukulam kabalim chavishyutam
Sannahyatim vamakarena valguna
Sanayatim vamakarena valguna
Vinignatimanya karena kandukam
Vinignatimanya karena kandukam
Vimohayantim jagadatmamayaya
Vimohayantim jagadatmamayaya
Shraddhadukulam kabalim chavishyutam
Slatadukulam kabarim chavishyutam
Sanayatim vamakarena valguna
Sanayatim vamakarena valguna
Vinignatim anyakarena kandukam
Vinignatimanya karena kandukam
Vimoyanti jagadatmamayaya
Vimohayantim jagadatmamayaya Shraddhadukulam kabarim chavichutam Shraddhadukulam kabarim chavichutam Sanayatim vamakarena varguna Sanayatim vamakarena varguna Vinignatim anyakarena kandukam Vinignatim anyakarena kandukam Vimohayantim jagadatmamayaya
Vimohayantim jagadatmamayaya Translation Slatad sleeping or slackening
Sleeping or slackening
Dukulam
Dukulam
the sari Kabarim cha
Kabarim cha
and the hair on the head
and the hair on the head
Vichutam
Vichutam
being slackened and scattered
being slackened and scattered
Sanahayantim
Sanayatim
trying to bind
trying to bind
Vama karena
Vamakarena
with the left hand
with the left hand
Valguna
Varguna
very beautifully attractive
very beautifully attractive
Vinignatim
Vinignatim
striking
striking
Anya karena
Anyakarena
with the right hand
with the right hand
Kandukam
Kandukam
the ball
the bowl
Vimohayantim
Vimohayantim
in this way captivating everyone
in this way captivating everyone
Jagat
Jagat
the whole world
the whole world
Atmamayaya
Atmamayaya
by the spiritual potency
by spiritual
potency
the internal energy
eternal energy
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
As she played with the ball, the sari covering her body became loose and her hair scattered. She tried to bind her hair with her beautiful left hand, and at the same time she played with the ball by striking it with her right hand. This was so attractive that the Supreme Lord, this was so attractive that the Supreme Lord, by his internal potency, in this way captivated everyone. Please repeat. As she played with the ball,
As she played with the ball,
the sari covering her body became loose,
the sari covering her body became loose,
and her hair scattered.
and her hair scattered.
She tried to bind her hair with her beautiful left hand,
She tried to bind her hair with her beautiful left hand.
and at the same time she played with the ball
At the same time she played with the ball,
by striking it with her right hand.
by striking it with her right hand.
This was so attractive
This was so attractive
that the Supreme Lord,
that the Supreme Lord,
by his internal potency,
by his internal potency,
in this way captivated everyone.
in this way captivated everyone.
Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita 7:14, it is said, Daivi yesha gunamai mama maya duratyaya. The external potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is extremely strong. Indeed, everyone is fully captivated by her activities. Lord Shambhu, Shiva, was not to be captivated by the external potency. But because Lord Vishnu wanted to captivate him also, he exhibited his internal potency to act the way that his external potency acts, to captivate ordinary living entities. Lord Vishnu can captivate anyone, even such a strong personality as Lord Shambhu. End of purport. Om Ajnana Timranasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Radha Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sagadaganakantam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Param Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinamanu Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Namostute Taptakanchana Gaurangi Ade Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Prahevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Kam karoti vachalam pangum leke grim yakripatamam mande Shri Guru Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. So we're anyway, continuing in this beautiful pastime of Mohini Murti. It was supposed to be just a small anecdote. She just appeared to recover the nectar from the demons. She was meant to just help the demigods in this way. This was the purpose of her appearance, her manifestation. But then Lord Shiva heard about it, and he wanted to see her. He was very eager to see what is this beautiful form. This is something natural. Devotees always want to see. Whenever they hear about a pastime, they're curious. They want to visit the places where these pastimes happened. They want to associate with the devotees who have witnessed these pastimes. They want to, if possible, see this form. So Lord Shiva wanted to see this form, and he came with his wife, probably with Nandi and his companions. He came to see Lord Vishnu, and he offered very nice prayers first. Then this is our Vaishnava culture. When you want to ask something of somebody, first you glorify them.
Yes.
So some devotees, when they have been in the movement for some time, they're afraid. Oh, the temple president told me Prasadam is very good today. What is he going to ask me tomorrow? Anyway, first we should appreciate somebody. We should offer some if they're not in a position where we can offer prayers, we can at least praise them and we can appreciate them. And then he asked him what he wanted, told him why he came. And it is said, we read a few purports back, that Krishna was smiling gravely. So there's a joke going on between them. And in the purport of verse 16, Prabhupada said this was a joking matter. Shiva was thinking, anyway, I'm not going to get attracted, I mean, the demigods didn't get bewildered by Mohini Moor. They all saw her. And I am Mahadev. I am the greatest of the demigods. So I am not going to get affected. But Prabhupada says in the purport, Krishna said, I will show you my form as a woman, and if you become agitated by lusty desires, do not blame me. So Krishna told him, I'm warning you, it's a very special form you have never seen. But then Prabhupada says that he actually, this is not the Mohini Murti that everybody saw. Krishna took a special form to attract even Lord Shiva. So this is a special mercy. And he did that. This is his, today in the purport, Prabhupada says, 21. He's explaining that this form that he took is his internal potency, is his internal potency. So it's something very special. And Lord Vishnu can captivate anyone, even such a strong personality as Lord Shambhu. And actually we hear that Krishna captivates even himself. That's how Jai Shri Shri Radha Kaleshishwara ki Jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi ki Jai, Shri Shri Nitai Sachi Sutta ki Jai. So Krishna is so extraordinarily beautiful, and he is so extraordinarily unlimited in everything, in all his qualities. He is all beautiful, all opulent, all strong, that he impresses even himself. He attracts even himself. So this is Krishna. This is, and Lord Shiva, he is a very great devotee, and sometimes devotees have this, of course, they worship Lord Krishna and they understand who Krishna is, but sometimes they have different rasas with the Lord. So here, Lord Shiva was kind of teasing Krishna. Is this form really that beautiful? Show me. Nothing is going to happen to me. And Krishna is saying, oh no, something is definitely going to happen to you. So, in a sense, we have to understand this also as part of the pastime. We cannot think that Lord Shiva is an ordinary living entity, and he became overpowered by his, Prabhupada says, lusty desires. This is externally it may appear so, but actually there's so much more to it. And in a sense, it was really Krishna trying to make a point, Lord Shiva also trying to make a point, and to show us, to teach us, and to give us this beautiful story also. It's also part of why so many pastimes happen, so that later, throughout the ages, devotees can read about this pastime and be completely enchanted by it. So this is the purpose of Krishna's. With one activity, he covers so many fields. So he pleased Shiva, obviously. He made his point. He got a good laugh out of it. He exhibited his internal potency, which is something that he usually doesn't do. And he gave us this beautiful story for us to discuss, ponder, feel that we're completely not qualified to discuss this, to be a little bit embarrassed, and to feel all these emotions to keep us busy. So this is the purpose of his beautiful pastime. Also have to understand that Lord Shiva, he is a very special personality. In his form as Lord Ramachandra, Lord Vishnu prayed to Lord Shiva. There's a beautiful temple in the, before he needed to cross the ocean to go rescue Sita from Sri Lanka. So Lord Ram, he built a nice Shivalinga and started worshipping him. To set an example also, when we are faced with the difficulty, what we should do, we should pray. He was trying to get his wife back. It's also described that when a man is looking for a good wife, he should pray to Parvati. And when a girl is looking for a good husband, she should pray to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is the example of a good husband because he is so absorbed in his spiritual life that he doesn't really take care about the material needs. They live in a forest up in Mount Kailash, surrounded with all his associates, who have some very nice descriptions of Lord Shiva's associates. Sorry?
Bad neighbors.
Bad neighbors. They're very respectful to Parvati Devi. They don't dare to disturb her. But for any, Parvati Devi is a princess. She's a goddess. She's a princess. But she's fully satisfied living with him because he's her spiritual guide, and he gives her Krishna. So it is recommended that when a girl wants to get married, she should pray to Lord Shiva to get a husband with his qualities. And it is recommended that when a man is looking for a good wife, he should pray to Parvati Devi. So he will find a woman that will assist him in his service and who is satisfied, who will be satisfied by being engaged in devotional service. This is very... So Lord Ramachandra, he built this. It's a very beautiful temple in South India. It's in the tip of India, Rameshwaram, and he's called the Lord of Ram, Rameshwaram, Parishishwara, Rameshwara, Rameshwaram, and this creates a bit of a problem later on for the Vaishnavas, because the Shaivites say this is the proof that Lord Shiva is supreme. Even Lord Vishnu worships him. But we have so many instances in scripture where Lord Shiva prays to Krishna. That's one example that Lord Ram is giving us. But there's so many places where Lord Shiva prays to Lord Krishna. And this is what we usually say, Vishnu is supreme, because he completely bewildered Lord Shiva with his Mohini Murti form. This is usually what the Vaishnavas use to say that no, actually Lord Vishnu is supreme because he bewildered Lord Shiva, Shambhu. So there's also many things we can say about Lord Shiva, but in short, he's considered to be the greatest Vaishnava, and he's the only demigod who can give you Krishna Bhakti. This is something very special. The other demigods, they can fulfill all your material desires if Krishna sanctions it, because they can't really. They are dependent. Their position is dependent on them carrying out their duties, and carrying out their duties is pleasing their boss, so to say, the cosmic boss. And if they're in good standing and they're doing things properly, they can fulfill their devotees' prayers, which is generally material desires. They want wealth, women, position, fame. All this is generally what materialistic people want. But Lord Shiva, he can fulfill the material desires, but he can also give you Krishna. So it's a very unique position. And because of his unique position, he is the guardian of the holy Dham. He allows us to enter into the holy Dham. And in a certain way, when you enter the holy Dham, you enter in Krishna's pastimes. Krishna's eternal abode. So Lord Shiva, he grants you permission. And if we're not qualified, if we're not sincere, he doesn't allow you entrance. So externally you might be in Vrindavan or in Jagannath Puri or in Mayapur, but you will be seeing only the external things and you'll be disturbed by all the external things. You won't be able to relish the potency of the Dhamma. So we should take time to. Lord Chaitanya did that also. He used to spend time, used to visit Lord Shiva's temples. He offered very beautiful prayers to Lord Shiva, asking him to grant him entrance to the holy Dhamma. So we should, we can take example from this whenever we are traveling or going to, and generally there's always a Shiva temple in every Dham. That's the Dhammeshwara. He's the Chitrapal, the guardian of the in Vrindavan. There's of course the beautiful Gopeshwar Mahadev. He's very unique. Lord Shiva in the form of a gopi. And he was granted entrance into the Rasa Lila pastime, which nobody else is allowed. But if you please him in a way, he might allow you to enter. Of course, we have another. We're also Rupanugas. We please our acharyas. We serve them nicely. They grant us entrance. But we can also be respectful and pray to Lord Shiva. There's many very important temples of Lord Shiva throughout India. And some are in Bhuvaneshwar, for example. He's eternally residing there in Nandan Kanan. That's his garden. And he recites the Bhagavatam to Parvati Devi. That's where it happens, in Bhuvaneshwar, Nandan Kanan. It's considered to be his eternal abode. Of course, there's also Kailash, so maybe he has more than one eternal abode. Bhuvaneshwar is very important, and he is the guardian of Jagannath Puri. Jagannath is said to be the incarnation that should be worshipped in Kali Yuga, because he is very easy to worship. You don't need too many. You just cook for him nicely, and Jagannath is pleased. Prabhupada was a great devotee of Jagannath from his childhood, and he installed that in the movement very early on, the worship of Jagannath and the Rath Yatras. He is really the form for Kali Yuga. He's a Kali Yuga. And of course, Lord Chaitanya, he came and he gave us the process of worshipping, but Jagannath is the form of Krishna we worship in Kali Yuga. And Lord Shiva in Bhuvaneshwar, he is the guardian of Jagannath Puri. So he's a very important place. There's so many pastimes with Lord Shiva and Krishna. Sometimes Lord Shiva, there's this story in the Bhagavatam with Banasura. Lord Shiva, Banasura was very expert at playing drums. And Lord Shiva is not attached, he likes to dance. So Banasura was accompanying him, giving him the rhythm, and Lord Shiva was dancing, having a great time. So Lord Shiva said, well, what benediction do you want? How can I repay you for your expertise, let's say. So Banasura had many arms. He had 1,000 arms, I think, or 100 arms. 1,000 arms, yeah. And he was playing drums with all these arms. So imagine the ambience. And Lord Shiva was dancing, so we can only imagine what that must be like. It must be something quite spectacular. So anyway, how is the story? I'm a bit lost. It's in the Krishna book.
Yes.
Banasura. How does he get in trouble with Krishna? Why do they start fighting?
He kidnapped all those princesses, didn't he?
Is it Banasura who kidnapped all the princesses? No, that's Vyomasura. Bhomasura, yeah. Bhomasura, he kidnapped them and Krishna married all the 16,000 queens. What is it with Banasura? Yes, please. Anyway, it turns out that actually Lord Shiva comes to defend him, and Lord Krishna and Shiva are fighting over this Banasura, right? This is it's in the Krishna book.
The soldiers of the other dynasty were attacking the whole city, becoming very angry. He immediately ordered his soldiers who
was attacking the city?
The Yadu dynasty were attacking the whole city.
Okay.
Tearing down various walls. Becoming very angry, he immediately ordered his soldiers, who were of equal caliber, to go and face. Lord Shiva was so kind to Banasura that he personally came as the commander-in-chief of the military
Of the
force.
army. But why did the Yadus attack?
Yes, this is from the honesty of the creation. Okay. He explained Niruddha had been carried out of the city of Hastinapur, the capital of Manasura's empire.
The capital of Banasura is called something.
And how Banasura was arrested. And defeated soldiers in the details. Practically all the family.
Anyway, this is what the Kshatriyas do. They go around and they pick fights among themselves. They have strong armies, so there's always some argument over probably some land or some princesses or some taxes, something.
Oh, it was Banasura's daughter who was attracted to Aniruddha, and then Aniruddha and Banasura went. Banasura, so Aniruddha, they actually captured Aniruddha. They kept him in the city.
Yes.
And then afterwards,
the Yadus went to rescue him.
The Yadus went to rescue him.
Usha. Yes. Now it's all coming. So
Krishna
Usha and
son,
Aniruddha.
wasn't it? Yes.
So you see, that's always the story. There's a princess.
There was a princess in the story. Mayhem.
So Usha and Aniruddha. So yes, Usha had a dream. This is what happened. Yes. Usha had a dream, and she saw Aniruddha, and she fell desperately in love with him.
Yes.
And she had a companion who was a bit of a magician. So she started drawing out. She described to him the person she had seen in her dream, and what was her name? She started drawing them out until she recognized this is the one. So she went during the night, picked him up. He was asleep, picked his whole bed, and brought him to Usha's place.
Inside the quarters where nobody could enter.
Her private quarters, which were guarded. The princess was guarded. So they stayed there very happily for some time. Aniruddha was not too upset to have been kidnapped. He was quite content. But then Bhomasura heard of it, and he became very enraged. What is this? Banasura. What is how dare he? My daughter is not married. So then he threw him in jail, and then the Yadus heard about this. Of course, they woke up one day and Aniruddha is missing.
It took quite a while to notice that.
Well, Krishna has 10 sons with each of his queens, so it must have taken a while to notice. One is missing. It's not like here, as soon as one person is missing, we immediately notice, oh my God, who is going to do his service? So anyway, they went to rescue him, and Banasura was not willing. They actually said, give us back Aniruddha and give us Usha and give us the wedding and the dowry. They demanded, give us Usha and Aniruddha, give us Aniruddha back with his wife Usha and the dowry. And Banasura said, are you joking? So then he attacked them. And Lord Shiva came to fight with him because he was very pleased with him, with his expert drumming. And it's described that there's a very beautiful an exchange of arms that goes on. They, Krishna threw this astra, and then Shiva threw this astra, and then this astra counteracted this astra, and at the end,
because Lord Shiva, Kartikeya and Ganesh they're all to the side of Banasura, isn't they?
yeah, they're all on Banasura's side, yeah.
And they're fighting against Krishna.
Against Krishna and the Yadus, yeah. And finally, there's this beautiful drawing in the Krishna book where there's this demon shivering. There's this astra, the fire astra that burns everything, and then it's counteracted by the astra that makes everybody shivering cold. And then Krishna with his Sudarshan chakra, he chopped off a lot of Banasura's arms. I think he left him with 4 or 6. He took off all his extra arms. And then Lord Shiva said, please don't kill him. Lord Shiva prayed to Krishna and said, please spare him. And then Banasura returned Aniruddha and of course Usha, and he had a very beautiful wedding. He gave them a very nice dowry, thousands of elephants and horses and chariots and maids and gold, and there's this beautiful description. And the Yadus came back home very happy, of course, with their new prize. But sometimes, and there, Lord Shiva offers again very beautiful prayers to Krishna. And he says that he was bewildered and he forgot his position as a servant of Krishna. And he, anyways, he asks him to please forgive him. And again, we have to understand that this is again Lord Shiva setting an example. This is not really he's not really in a position where he can really forget, like Arjuna also in the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna forgets and he becomes bewildered, and he doesn't want to do what Krishna is asking him to do, and he gives him so many very valid reasons.
That's Balaram's right arm, jewel.
Gives him a very, very valid reasons as to why he should not fight, But then Krishna explains to him, no, who you are, who am I, and why you should do what you need to do, And then Arjuna says, I can see everything clearly, and my illusion is dissipated. Now I can understand again. I'm really sorry, and I'm ready to do whatever you ask me to do. So this is we see this happening many times throughout our scriptures with different devotees, exalted devotees, and it's for both reasons. It's for them to gives them an opportunity to have a very nice exchange. It gives us a beautiful pastime to discuss, and it gives us an example, and it also serves as a warning that we can become bewildered, we can lose faith, we can become bewildered, we can lose our intelligence and think that something which is not true is true. We can become bewildered temporarily. So what should we do in such cases? Whatever these people do. They pray to Krishna. When they feel, Arjuna told Krishna, I said, I don't know what to do. Please tell me what to do. I am completely bewildered. Shishyasteham shadimam tam prapan. I surrender to you. I don't know what to do. I don't want to do this. My body is trembling. I'm afraid. I'm feeling. What you tell me what to do. So this is, I think this is one of the lessons throughout our scriptures, that we are very finite, therefore we're prone to becoming bewildered by Krishna's external or internal energy. And when this happens, we need to be prepared. And in order to prepare us, we're given all these examples of what we should do, how we should do, what prayers we should offer, how we should think, how we should react. This is I think in the next, is it the did it happen before or will it happen later, where Lord Brahma becomes bewildered by his daughter? Is it in the next cantos, or did we read about it? Anyway, well, there's another where Lord Brahma becomes completely bewildered by his daughter. And there we see the reactions of all the people surrounding him, how they react. They can see that he is completely unaware, unable to understand what he's doing. So they start offering prayers for his benefit. So we live together. Prabhupada wanted us to live together in community, in a sense, for our protection. Sometimes we might not be aware of what we're doing, or understand that we're slipping, or we're becoming bewildered. But if we're living in community, other devotees might notice, and maybe they're not in the position where they can or should correct you, but they can most definitely offer prayers on your behalf to help you. Not everybody should correct you. This is not our culture. But most definitely we can offer prayers for someone if we see that they're having some difficulty. So I think I'll end here. And I will open up to questions or comments, corrections.
Interesting, the first word is Slatha. What was the translation of Slatha?
21. Slatar.
Slack.
Slipping.
Exactly. So that resonates with the last sentence that you actually said, you know?
Slipping.
Yeah.
Yes. You started off and you finished off with that, with the same theme, you know?
Slipping. Yeah. It's interesting, her description. You know, she appears in this beautiful garden with beautiful leaves, unusual color leaves.
Yes.
Pink and reddish, matching her soft feet. You know, and she's playing with a ball. And she's, in a sense, probably saying she's behaving like external energy behaves to attract the living entity. So we can say, in crude English, flirting, isn't it? She's playing with the ball and she's trying to attract him.
Attention.
Yeah, she's trying to get his attention without making it obvious that she's trying to get his attention. This is how it's interesting. And yeah.
So one of the questions we can ask is if Shiva, if Krishna played this pastime here, so Shiva cannot be bewildered by the external energy.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a pastime to show us that we should not become bewildered by the external energy, or because we are not bewildered by the internal energy. So is it?
Yeah, I think it's to show Shiva's position, that he's so elevated that he could not be bewildered by the external energy. Krishna had to exhibit his internal potency.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
You see, that makes that both things are true at the same time. So there's this thing that devotee proves the word of Krishna as true, and that's his service. And then Krishna proves that the devotee's
Yes.
words are true, and this is his service to his devotee.
Yeah.
So Shiva said that I will not be bewildered by any material or devata or anything normal, and he wasn't. No? And then he said, you will be bewildered by me. And he was bewildered by something acting like external energy, but it was internal agency. So this is, if anyone reads without this pure bhakti line, you can get all sort of partial conclusions, and only partial conclusions. Because you could say, he was bewildered, therefore Vishnu is superior to Shiva. And then you're not considering Shiva in his position, huh? And then you could see, no, this is Shiva is superior, is showing this, and this has no meaning, but it has a very complex meaning. So unless you have this, it's impossible.
It's very complicated.
You can only be bewildered by the external energy. That's what we're saying.
No. I mean, we could be, I guess.
No, anybody could be bewildered by the external energy.
Yeah.
Obviously, Lord Shiva wasn't bewildered by the
Yeah,
external
yeah.
energy, but by the internal energy which was come through.
Yes.
So bewilderment can happen by external energy, not by Krishna's internal energy, which is
I mean, if you get bewildered by Krishna's internal energy, you're in a very elevated
I guess
position.
we were like marginal. That's why they say marginal.
yes.
Yeah, But actually, when we become purified, we don't interact with the external energy anymore, and we interact with we're under, and we can become bewildered in the sense that he wanted to enjoy this internal potency. It's described that he tried to embrace her, so he tried to enjoy her. A devotee doesn't do that. A devotee understands that Krishna's internal energy is to please Krishna. So this is the. But I think this is the beauty of the pastime, that Krishna kept Shiva's word, like Prema said, to prove him, that yes, he cannot be, but Krishna is still boss.
Yes, okay, he always has this effect. You can do something in a way, you can still keep to it. It's like how Brahma's boon to Hiranyakashipu, and Krishna still kept to it. So similarly, this way.
Also, Markandeya Rishi asks, "You want no? Is it Markandeya Rishi?
Oh, there's so many.
He wants to see. He wants to see his Maya. No, he says, "No, I want to see your Maya," and he sees all this. Maybe not hallucination, but he sees something that no one else is seeing. He's seeing all this kid and all this struggle and everything happening, or when Arjuna is seeing this Virat Rupa. It's something that it's very particular to those, to that devotee in that moment.
You wanted to say something? No?
Just, we should look exactly the meaning of what means bewildering.
Bewilderment.
I think it's taking something we think it is the true, but it is not the true. So we cannot really say that Shiva is bewildering because he's taking the truth in front of him. It's not a bewilderment.
I think he's bewildered because he thinks she's there for him to enjoy.
So
That's the.
This is a mistake.
Yes. Otherwise, she's real. She's in front of him. But anyway.
So one of the conclusions of this pastime is that the Lord, it's good to be attracted by the beauty of the Lord, but we should never come to the point we want to enjoy the beauty of the Lord.
This is the reason we are in this material world, because we want to enjoy. And we have to understand that it's actually meant for Krishna's enjoyment.
It's even a little bit different because we want to enjoy separately from Krishna, but here Shiva is in connection with the Lord, so it's even more illusion.
Yeah, but I think it's really an example.
Yeah.
It's really showing us,
Many of these stories in Bhagavatam, they go to a kind of an extreme point, that it's unavoidable, but no one is ever going to be in that position, and that no one is ever to be, floated in a bed, and these things are so, and then everything under that more or less kind of falls into categories are either one of those.
Anyway, tomorrow's verse is very interesting. I don't know who is giving class tomorrow, but you?
One. Is that I find in Bhagavatam, whenever they describe women, they describe them with this, big red breasts, slender waist, hips, all of this, we have a resident brahmachari, So I'm wondering how when Bhagavatam is talking about all this, how the brahmacharis actually feel. Because whenever Bhagavatam describes women, they say slender waist, broad hips, heavy breasts, gaits like walking like this. It's very, very descriptive. So you can imagine, in my mind, although I'm not, in this way, but you can picture somebody like this, And if you're discussing this in a whole group of brahmacharis, I can imagine what happens, And it's not just in the case of Mohini Murti, quite a lot of times they always describe women like that. So Vyasadeva, Sukadeva Goswami really went into detail whenever they describe women.
Well, there's description of men too.
But not
there are the broad shoulders and the thin waist, and it looked like a lion, and you have arms like an elephant strung. There's very detailed description about I think it's meant to be that way, to fire our, to engage our imagination.
Brahmacharis sitting in the room and discussing this, and what do they do?
But actually, we should.
So we will get the brahmachari's verdict on this.
Yes.
The idea
put you on the spot,
the idea is to see that the internal energy is more beautiful than the external.
Okay.
And in this case, better to be attracted by the internal. But after, even if you are attracted by the internal, you should not try to enjoy the internal. So this is, I think, this is why this is a pastime coming quite close with the end.
Yes, exactly.
Because before you had all the other teaching, understand the difference between external and internal.
No, much harsher lessons you have to.
Now we are more close. Okay, now you understood. You should not try to enjoy external energy, but you can become attracted by the internal energy, very good, like Shiva, but don't try to enjoy even this internal energy.
Getting closer into the temple.
Yes, that's why, you know, the Krishna book, Prabhupada gave it to us very early on, but that's why the 10th canto is the 10th canto and not the first canto. Because we've had time to understand, you know, that although Krishna, he's interacting like a hormonal teenager, you know, he's anything but, you know, running away from home, meeting girls in the middle of the night, playing flute, you know, making them run away from their homes, you know, leaving behind their children and their husbands. Yeah, meeting in the forest, you know. But we need to understand that there's also this song, you know, Gopijana Vallabha, and the next line, Girivaradari. You know, yes, he is the lover of the gopis, but he lifts Govardhan Hill. And Prabhupada says, I think there's a beautiful lecture, it says, you rascal, if you want to enjoy with the gopis, you first lift Govardhan Hill on your finger and you hold it up a few minutes, not 7 days, just a few minutes. And then, yeah, okay, we will accept. So we have to understand, I just want to finish with one funny anecdote. There was a URI meeting, I don't know if you heard of it. URI is like United Nations, but for religions, United Religions Initiatives. And they usually tackle the UN's, they're like the religious side, so any religion fights or this and that and the other, they try to find solutions to it. So they meet every year in different places. Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj, he used to go to these meetings, and he invited them to come to Mayapur. He said, oh, let's meet in Mayapur. And somehow it happened after he left. And actually, because they really appreciated him, they did it as an homage to him. They came and they had the meeting in Mayapur. So there was all these religious people, you know, all kinds of religions. They came to Mayapur and they had their meeting there. And I remember one day in the temple room, of course, so the residents of Mayapur, we were asked to be like, show them around and translate for them and serve them prasad. Like we were very much engaging with them. So I was a translator or something. Anyway, so there was one young man in the group. I brought him into the temple room, and he saw, you know, Radha Madhava and the 8 gopis. He said, "This is God, man! What do I have to do to be like him?" Anyway, you know. And then he was saying, you know, and then he looked at me and he said, "But you can't have a boyfriend." So he was saying how unfair it is, you know. Here is Krishna, you know, surrounded by nine, you know, and we're worshipping that. But we're not, we're like segregating men and women, you know, and we have brahmacharis and we, so he couldn't understand that. But anyway, well, then I told him, you know, yes, of course, because he's God, you know, and I am not. So anyway, but this shows the mentality of the conditioned soul, you know, that we want to be, you know, it's like he was, yeah. Anyway, we don't have Radha Madhava and 8 Sakis in every temple, but we always have Radha and Krishna, and we do. It's very common. And people know who Srimati Radharani is. They know that she's his paramour, and so it's difficult sometimes to when we're preaching but yeah.
Actually, we're coming back to this United. I remember one year when Maharaj brought somebody from the UN to Mayapur as well. And it was so amazing that, doing Tulsi Puja. So he witnessed, he saw the Tulsi Puja in the morning, and he saw everybody going around this tree. And then when he came to speak to Maharaj, tears in his eyes. And he says, this is the real United Nations, whole group of different kinds of people standing around and worshipping around a tree. And it was amazing to see this person united with tears in his eyes. So taken back that, he's come from an organization that should represent the entire, executive, it speaks for itself, United Nations, it's self-explanatory. And here he said, this is a prime example of United Nations. And he was so taken aback that people walking around a tree of different nationalities, different countries, different races, walking around a tree, worshipping a tree. Tears were flowing in his eyes. And you can imagine how Krishna, I think it's the potency of the Dham that was actually, taking his influence in the internal energy, I'm sure, has been
Prabhupada's been crucial in that being so wide.
So that just reminded me of this episode when I was there, and that's what happens.
Yeah, it's also Prabhupada said, no, this is the real United Nations. Where United Nations have failed, we have succeeded, he says.
And you're actually that a person from the United Nations actually did feel this firsthand. It's interesting.
Yeah, it was really nice. Of course, some of them were very much taken by the devotees. This person was a bit of a actually, because there was many devotees, and we were serving them prasadam, and he was trying to flirt with every girl, and we were all very not interested. So he was a bit bitter. So anyway, I had to take him and show him the temple room, and then he was kind of telling me, if he's doing it, why can't you do it? Anyway, he changed a bit his mind later. He could appreciate.
What an experience, to go from anywhere else in the world and then just appear in Mayapur.
Yes.
In one day.
For us also it was a very nice experience. I had never met Jews and Christians and Muslims, and I remember there was one very nice girl from UAE. She was wearing her veil and everything, and first day she came to Darshanarti and she heard the Govinda prayer, she just started crying, and she just bowed down, started doing her namaz in front of the deities, and she says, this is God, this is God, this is God. She was but then she was crying. She said, now I'm going back to the UAE. I cannot speak about this to anybody. she was so.
We are devotees, we think we are devotees for so long. But somebody who is completely different, and they can actually have these real symptoms of love and love for Krishna.
She was standing next to me, because we had to be their guides. And I said, oh, tomorrow 7 o'clock, okay, this group, okay, and just her reaction, still makes my hair stand on end. She was just the curtains open. Govinda, she was out. The sound, the sight, she was so taken aback, and she just dropped on the floor, And then she was she asked us to give her the recording. She wanted to keep listening to the Never heard from her again.
It's possible. There's a story Prabhupada says in Kumbh Mela, no? They say that there's some of these big sadhus, they're monist or some kind of, nothing philosophy, So they act like this and they're sadhus, but inside they're worshipping Radha Krishna, but they don't want to disclose because they're business will be worse. So some people might have this hidden, you never know. If she took that, that's quite a special thing, no? That she could.
Special that she cried over. I've never cried to see Krishna.
She was coming.
Of all shapes and altars.
That was her first day. She made it a point. She was there every day for every program,
crazy,
and she was crying It was amazing to watch her.
That's a crazy moment.
We were all so impressed by her reaction, and she was very appreciative that we were separating men and women. She was very happy. She said, "Oh yes, but she had absolutely no problem with Krishna surrounded by the gopis." Yeah. She could understand, we are not there, so she said, every time I go to these meetings, I have such a hard time making them understand that I need separate accommodation. Even seating spaces. Why can't half the room be there? She was very happy, half the room for ladies, half the ladies dance with the ladies. Oh, she was so happy. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, it was a very nice experience. There's many anecdotes, and most of the people were very, very much taken back by it. It was a very positive experience, but some people were envious, in a sense, envious of Krishna's position. The Prophet says this is also normal. This is normal. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki, Gaura Premanande.
Krishna Krishna Mataji ki jai.
Arjun Prabhu.